What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jay Brew back at it again with another video. What is this, day 5? No, this is day 4 of the YouTube channel. We are locked in this year, road to 1,000 subscribers so we can get monetized and get that money. You know what I'm saying? Today we're getting very educational. Black Widow versus Venus Flytrap. Two things that really shouldn't exist, because why is a Venus flytrap a thing, bro? Like, look at it. But anyways, let's get it right into it.
Widow walked into a Venus flytrap, what would happen? Would the trap close on top of the spider and eat it whole? Or would the Black Widow be able to use its venom to squeeze its way out? Well,
use its venom to squeeze its way out? What does that even mean? Does venom even work on these plants?
I'm going to be testing just that, along with tons of other insect types to see how strong Venus flytraps are really.
R.I.P. Bro, I don't know if I can do this. These bugs are just ugly.
Now, to get a Venus flytrap, you gotta, of course, buy one online, and so I found this website. There was 2 different options of stuff to buy, a cheap $10 Venus flytrap bundle and an expensive $100 bundle. Oh, this is actually perfect. I think I'm gonna buy both of these trap bundles. Then I'll be able to test the cheap and expensive trap
Bro,
to see
which
will be more effective at catching insects. But hey, I guess let me just check them out. And thankfully, only a couple days later, I got the traps delivered in the mail. After taking them out, I separated them into cheap and expensive.
Bro, I swear you could get anything in the mail nowadays, bro. Like, you can buy a machete off of Amazon and just get it in the mail, bro. No license or nothing. A 5-year-old can do it.
You can see the cheap Venus flytraps actually gave me quite a lot for just $10. And the traps themselves did look pretty healthy, big, and had that signature green and red color. Nice. However, over on the expensive side, you can see these are a bit different. They're not even packaged at all, and they look way more natural with moss all around the dirt. However, the main difference in these ones is that they're basically fully red. Like, they literally look like an apple. I've never seen Venus flytraps like that. But other than that, these traps mostly look the same, and hopefully at least one of them will be able to successfully trap a Black Widow. But before we test the Black Widow, we also got some other insects to test, starting with a fly. Thankfully, I'm a weird bug guy, so I just got a container of a bunch of flies, which might actually mostly be dead, but I think some are alive in there. First of all, let's get the plants in their testing chambers, and we'll be testing the strength of the cheap $10 traps first. Without wasting any time, I just put in a single fly and put 30 minutes on the clock. And if it gets caught before the timer's up, I'll add in some more flies. But instantly, as you can see, the fly started to climb along the glass to try and escape. Thankfully though, I've sealed this enclosure shut, and once the fly realized that, he ended up going back down to the floor. Now this is where things get interesting, because the fly landed on one of the pots with all of the Venus flytrap plants. What makes Venus flytraps so effective is actually their nectar. Just like normal flowers, these traps also produce nectar around this little green lip part of the plant. And basically what it's designed to do is lure hungry insects in, and while they're eating the plant, of course, it's shut. But I guess because these plants are so cheap, they didn't have...
Chad, what do y'all think would happen if you put your finger here? Would it just not close since, like, your fingers are too big? Well, some of y'all got baby hands, so I don't know.
Very much of that nectar, because after standing around for like a minute, the fly just flew away without even stepping in any of the jaws.
Wait, are flies like smart, or are they just dumb? I never thought about that, because they be getting stuck in the blinds a lot. So does that mean they're dumb, or just it's impossible to...
From there on out, the fly basically drained the 30-minute timer down all the way to 3 minutes by just standing on the glass. However, eventually he decided to explore near the cheap Venus flytraps once again. And this time he got a little bit too close, because he stepped onto one of the traps and it could literally close on him right now. But the trap took a second too long, and the fly was able to fly out once it sensed the movement. You see, Venus flytraps have a very interesting system for how they detect prey and activate their jaws, which I'll go more in depth with when the trap actually traps an insect. For now, the fly just sort of walked around on the dirt for the rest of the timer, and well, the cheap trap was a fail. Thankfully, over on the right, we got the expensive one though, worth 10 times more, and this should have a much...
Who do y'all think is gonna win this challenge, bro? Because I think he got scammed, I don't think these are gonna work at all.
better
Me
result.
personally.
So I put in a new fly, and let's get the timer started to see how quickly this guy gets caught. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this fly was a bit crazier than that first one, because for the first 3 minutes, he literally just flew around the entire enclosure like he was insane, just hitting all the glass trying to escape. But after he tired himself out, it was time for the Venus flytraps to do their thing. Instantly, you can tell the fly was way more drawn to the traps, as these expensive ones have a much stronger, more smelly nectar. And that was proven because right after, the fly walked in one of the traps. But quickly, it walked out right as the trap closed. Yeah, you can see in this instant replay, the trap may have missed the fly, but comparing the cheap and expensive traps, the expensive one closes way faster. And only a minute later, the fly was still chilling near the
He didn't get scammed.
traps. And this time, the nectar caught him off guard, because he walked onto the trap and put his face straight up to the lip of the plant where it was. And well, yeah, the video is paused right now, but you could probably tell what's about to happen. Just like that, the trap got a perfect close on the fly. You see, every single Venus flytrap has these super tiny trigger hairs inside of the jaws. And when a bug or something touches more than 2 of them, the trap starts to close. And these expensive ones are able to close so quickly that they catch most of prey that steps inside. You can see slight bits of movement inside over the next 20 minutes, but over the next few days, the trap is going to release a type of acid on the fly.
Days, bro. They get stuck in there for days. That's torture. Oh, nah.
To digest it down and grow even stronger. Well, it only took 5 minutes for that to trap the fly.
Wait, what does that
cheap
mean?
One didn't.
What does he mean they grow stronger? Like, do they get longer? Does it close faster? What kind of upgrades do they get?
Definitely takes home the win, and I think I'm gonna have to rate him a 3 out of 10 for how entertaining it was to watch. And I just say that because the next 2 insects should be way more interesting, especially the Black Widow. I have no idea what's gonna happen with that. Anyway, second up though, we got crickets to test. Thankfully, crickets can't fly or climb glass, so they should be way easier.
They might as well be able to fly. Bro, I saw a cricket jump over Shaq one time, bro.
In the cheap enclosure, I put 30 minutes on the clock. Let's see what happens. Now, for the first little while, the cricket spent most of its time just walking on the dirt along the side of the glass to, of course, try and find an escape. Because let's be real, every cricket that sees me on this channel knows it's about to get eaten. He did not want to be in here. But after 5 minutes, he made his first approach to the traps. And one thing I should probably say is that the crickets are way more attracted to nectar, as it's a primary part in their diet. And that was shown because soon after, the cricket started to climb on the outside of the jaws of this trap. And right after that, I actually realized the cricket had stepped inside one of the traps, and it sort of looked like it was drinking nectar. But hello, Venus flytrap, there's a cricket standing inside of you right now. Are you gonna close? Yeah, the cricket really just stood there for 30 seconds, and when it was finished drinking the nectar, it started to walk out, and then finally the trap closed. Good job, bro. You're up.
Wow. It didn't close until the dude walked out, bro.
Only a minute
he
later,
doesn't want to win.
I guess the cricket must have just not hit a trigger hair inside until the very end, which is why that happened. Anyways, nothing really new happened up until 15 minutes left on the clock, when I decided I wanted to add in 3 more crickets to make this more interesting. And while these guys all ran around the enclosure, I closely watched them to see if any would step inside any of the traps. And at 5 minutes left, this happened. You see, this cricket started to walk up the stem of this trap. Then he walked inside, realized it was a dead end, and tried to turn around. But it was too late because the trap closed on him, leaving him half stuck inside.
Oh my god, he's halfway
I literally
in.
just got some time-lapse footage of this guy to see if he'd be able to escape. And actually, while I was recording that, another cricket below also stepped into one of the traps. And he also got half of his body stuck inside. Thankfully, this cricket was able to use some of the stuff around him to pry himself out of the trap. However...
Okay. So, Venus flytraps are useless.
I don't know if this guy will be able to do the same, since he's in the air and has nothing to grab onto. So, I guess I'll just leave you here. Sorry, boy.
RIP.
Anyways, that concludes the timer, and I would call this a half success for the cheap plants this time, but oh boy, am I excited to do this with the expensive traps. I didn't want to waste any time, so I put in 1 cricket, and this time the cricket instantly walked towards the traps, like within a couple seconds. And he started to just play with his life, because he would just be walking through the plants like this, narrowly escaping the insane speed of these expensive Venus flytraps. Now, only a few minutes later, the cricket once again walked into a Venus flytrap. This time, he managed to dodge all the trigger hairs, and he put his mouth up to the lip of the plant to drink some nectar. But yeah, the second he stood...
I don't know why, but I really want this cricket to get caught.
Moving again, he wasn't so lucky because the trap got an absolutely perfect close on him. And
Come
well, it
here,
only took
boy.
7 minutes for the expensive traps to
Come
fully
here,
capture a
boy.
cricket. So once again, I'm gonna have to give the win to expensive. And I think I'm gonna rate that a 6 out of 10 for entertainment because way more traps
6?
closed, which was fun to watch. But you already know what time it is. It is a Black Widow o'clock. Yeah, it's time to test the Black Widows now.
A Black Widow
I've never
o'clock?
actually just seen a Black Widow walking around where I live. I don't know why. I guess they just don't have them here in my state.
So the only way to get one was to get out the laptop and find a website selling them. I ended up finding a good listing on this
Like, bro, you can buy anything off the internet. It's crazy, bro.
website, so I bought some, and the next day they got delivered to my house. As you can see, I bought a pretty good amount of these guys, and as you can probably also
Bro.
see, they're super creepy. They got that signature glossy black color, a massive abdomen, and of course, they got the red hourglasses on the back of that abdomen to let you know they're
I'm not gonna lie, that design is just tough, bro.
extremely venomous.
That
In
design
fact,
is
something I
just
just
tough.
learned about these guys is their venom is actually 15 times more potent than rattlesnake venom. That's why when I opened the container to get a closer look, I got extremely scared when they started running away straight towards me.
Bro, that Black Widow just ran out of here. He webbed down the side of the table and just started running around the floor. But don't worry, I actually scooped him up into this box I had laying around. I'm pretty scared of Black Widows.
Anyways, I went and put one of the Black Widows inside the cheap trap enclosure and got 30 minutes on the clock. This is about to get interesting.
Bro
Let's see
didn't
what
even
happens.
pick up the
Right
vial.
away, the Black Widow made her way towards the traps. Now, Black Widows are a lot slower than crickets and flies, so if this spider steps
Bro, this
inside
thing
the
is
trap,
too
there's a
big.
high likelihood of it getting caught. And while nothing really happened for the first couple of minutes, eventually the spider started to walk along the tops of some of the traps. You can see Black Widows are very meticulous with their movement, and it would very carefully place its legs above the trap, making sure not to step inside. But even with that, the spider was playing a dangerous game because all it needed was one bad step. Anyways, about 15 minutes later, I noticed that the spider had actually started to spin a little bit of silk. And maybe it was planning on building its web here. But
wow.
unfortunately, she would never get the chance to finish
Oh.
because she took a wrong
Oh.
turn into the Venus flytrap.
Oh.
And it closed straight
Oh
on
my
me,
God.
almost perfectly. However, there was still some legs sticking out. To be honest, it didn't look good for the Black Widow.
What's gonna
Besides
happen?
a few leg twitches, it looked like the spider had just lost to the Venus fly.
So when they go inside that, do they just automatically just start taking bleed damage?
Trap. And if you thought that was cool, well, you gotta see the expensive Venus fly traps because right after putting the Black Widow in, he instantly walked up to a
Bro.
Venus fly trap. And literally within the
This
first
dude's
30
standing
seconds
on
of the
business.
timer, he stepped inside one of the traps, ducked down a little bit too much, and the trap closed on him within an instant. In my opinion, this one was even
my
cooler to
gosh.
watch. And yeah, his legs were also just stuck sticking out of
He got folded like a
the
pretzel,
size of the
bruh.
trap. And well, hopefully that answers the question. Venus fly traps do beat Black Widows.
Well, guys, thanks for watching. You can watch another video by clicking there. Anyways,
That's
as you
a
can
cute
see, my
dog.
dog's actually
Wow. That something slight for today, you know, entertainment, educational reacts. But yeah. Hope you guys liked the video. Let me know what I should react to next in the comments. Yeah. Bye. Like and subscribe or else.